Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Agree or Disagree. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith.
Agree.
Agree, there you go. That's how it starts. Also, Chels, you okay?
I'm great, yeah. How are you?
Good to see you back on the channel. Yeah, I'm all right, man.
Good.
We're going to be getting into some of the topics in a minute. And last but by no means least, we've got Lauren. You all right?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah?
Yes.
So, the premise of this show is quite simple. I make a statement, and you either agree with that statement or you disagree with it, and you can show your feelings via these boards here. So no expense spared here on Stretford, Paddock.
It's simple, isn't it?
It's cutting edge technology. Yeah. That's how we roll. Also, you lot have got to get involved in the chat and the comments, and we do run polls as well on these questions or these statements, so you can let us know your opinion. If you're not doing already, make sure you are hitting like and also give us a subscribe too. Great to see loads of people in the chat and the comments already. I'll get into it in a minute, but let's start. Let's get kicking off with the first question. Don't look at the questions there. Don't get heads up. That's cheating, that. What's the matter with that? So the first statement is, INEOS were wrong not to move.
Oh, fuck it. How many double negatives are we putting in
Sorry.
this? INEOS
Were wrong not to move for Thomas Tuchel. So why don't I reword that,
What is
right?
Not
throwing producer Ben under the bus, right? But let me do it differently.
Have you ever found like a gold necklace in an old jewellery box?
Yeah.
And it's got so many knots in it that you can't even begin to start untangling it, and you just have to throw it away. That's what that statement is.
That's the story
it's
of my life.
so knotty that I can't even see which end is which.
Honestly. Right, I'm gonna reword it.
Okay.
INEOS should have gone for Thomas Tuchel.
Beautiful.
Well done.
Much better.
You're not getting paid by the word, you know, Ben. Just to let you know, bro. Oh, was it Ethan? Oh, right, well, that's even worse. I've forgotten what I said now.
INEOS should have gone for Thomas Tuchel.
Right. No, do you know? No!
Oh.
Have we got a full out? Oh, no.
No.
There's always one, isn't there?
Always one.
We'll get into your reason for agreeing with that in a minute, Chels. I'll start with you, Lauren. Why are you happy that we didn't?
Do you know what? I don't actually have a reason. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just don't think he fits the bill for United. And I'm not going to sit here and try and spout stuff that I don't know what I'm saying. There's something in me that says no.
Right, okay.
Gut feeling.
Yeah,
it's like,
basically.
You just, you can't sort of put it into words, but just
no,
a feeling there.
I can't
not
see
the right
him.
man for the job.
No, I can't see him at United.
You just can't?
No.
Right, okay, that's fair enough. Sometimes it is a bit of a feeling. Just get the impression, you get the vibe off someone that he's not right. Joseph?
Yeah.
You didn't want him?
I didn't want him. What's the plan here if you get Thomas Tuchel? What we said, we want to win the league by 2028. He's left 3 years before that, and he's only got here 4 years before that.
Yeah.
Like, Thomas Tuchel won't be the manager in 2028. So either you've sort of won a league title earlier than planned, which obviously is great, but in real terms, what it probably means is he's left without winning a league title.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the squad is ready to do that. He's fallen out with every single club he's ever been at.
Yeah.
And yes, winning the Champions League with Chelsea is phenomenal. He has that phenomenal thing on his CV, and I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to diss that or doubt that at all. It was phenomenal. But every other club he's been at, he won a German Cup with Dortmund, which is fine. Didn't do as well as his predecessor, Jurgen Klopp. Went to PSG. Continued the winning run of a team that had about 10 times the budget of the next highest spending team in the league at the time, which again is fine. The best thing he did there was getting them to the Champions League final, in which they looked a little bit flat. Then he went to Chelsea, did well, like I said, I'm not going to knock what he did there. Then he went to Bayern Munich, won the league in his first season, having arrived in March. So, yeah, you got him over the line, but it was hardly your doing.
It's already set, wasn't it?
Yeah, then in the second season, they didn't win the league for the first time in, 11 years? I know you can't just win 20 years in a row, and eventually that was going to come to an end, but it came to an end under his watch. I think other than winning the league with the Champions League with Chelsea, he hasn't got anything on his CV where I go, that was incredible. Jose had 2, 3, 4 of those things in his first 5 years as a manager. Winning the Champions League with Porto, incredible. What he did at Chelsea, incredible. What he did at Real Madrid, maybe the first time where he probably didn't overachieve. Then Inter Milan, incredible again. Yeah. Like, or whichever order that happened in. He did incredible things across multiple teams, back to back to back. Tuchel hasn't done that for me. He's a good manager, but I don't think what he brings is enough to go for him, knowing that within 2 years, 3 years at a push, he's out the door and he's fallen out with everyone. I just don't want that for Manchester United at the minute.
Yeah, you make some good points. Chelsea, you disagree with him, but you agree that we should have gone for Thomas Tuchel. Why do you think he's the right man for the job?
I think it all depends on the way the question's asked. I think say INEOS were looking for, because obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, we don't fully know what the whole kind of process is, but say INEOS are looking for a new manager now and they want to get a new manager soon, I think Tuchel would have been a good choice. I think he should have gone for Tuchel. He's got Premier League experience, and I mean, I know obviously winning the Champions League with Chelsea isn't everything, but he did really. I think he did really, really well with them.
Yeah. Mate, I was a Chelsea fan that night. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was absolutely dancing around my living room when he got that win.
However, if they are not looking now and they are looking at sticking it with Ten Hag, then I think fair enough, let him go and do what he wants to do. But it all just depends. Like I said, if out of all the kind of options and alternatives out there now, I think Tuchel probably would be one of the best shouts. But I mean, I'd like, I'm an England fan as well, so it'd be nice to sort of see how well he does at England. But I'd just be interested to see if we were looking for a new manager, who we would go for now.
I do like Tuchel, and I think he's a decent manager. And like you said, Joe, you can't ignore that Champions League win. Me and you were chatting earlier, and I think he got a big advantage when Pep Guardiola decided, for reasons I've still not fathomed, to drop Rodri for the final.
Yeah.
But he did win it, and we were talking earlier, I've seen Sir Alex Ferguson, for me the greatest manager of all time, win 2 Champions Leagues. So winning the Champions League isn't easy. So you can't dismiss that. Also getting to a final with PSG, again, they didn't turn up, but they got there and they never get there. No other managers took him there, has he? So you've got to give him some sort of credit there, and he's a manager that he might do well at England. That might suit him more, and he might have come to United and got us into the top 4 or whatever. But I would like, the reason that I don't really want Tuchel is, if we do replace Erik ten Hag, I'd like us to go for someone who's a bit more up and coming and on that trajectory. We did that trajectory with Jose. He'd just been sacked off Chelsea, and it was, little did we know, it was kind of the beginning and the end of Jose as an elite manager. I know he'll always have that CV, but since he left Chelsea and got sacked from United, it's not been great, has it, for him?
No.
He's not moved with the times.
For that a little
I think
bit,
maybe we did wreck him.
Yeah.
I think we did. He probably just that summer.
We aged him 10 years.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? He went from looking suave and sort of all the dripping in charisma to looking like he just climbed out of a skip. He looked terrible towards the end.
And the job at United led him to no longer manage the league title challenging teams.
No, it did. It did
That
sort
kills
of
you- that kills your mystique
ruin his
a bit, doesn't
career
it? Yeah.
a bit. But he was on the Van Gaal was probably 20 years past his peak, although he'd obviously done quite well recently. Ten Hag was on the rise, to be fair, to when he arrived. I'd like to see us go for another manager whose stock is pretty high, who is up and coming, rather than someone who's a bit patchy and may or may not be sort of losing it a little bit. Jez Dead Baby says he's been a member of the academy, by the way, for 22 months. He says no, he's a short-term manager at best, and I think he'd crumble under the pressure of United. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I mean, he's going to get a lot of pressure at England, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
In the poll, INEOS should have gone for Thomas Tuchel. Agree 28%, disagree 72%. So it does seem like most people agree with us. Chelsea makes some good points, but I feel like he's probably not quite the name that you'd want, or not quite done well enough to get everyone going. He's our guy.
I just choose controversy.
You do. You like to, yes. Right, here's one. And unfortunately, there's not a I don't give a toss option, as that would be mine.
God's sake.
But I'm going to go with this one anyway. England should have appointed an English manager. Yeah?
As in, they shouldn't have gone Tuchel, and they should have gone for an actual option that's available
Potter
right now.
or Carlos,
Or in theory, England should have English
should we
managers.
say it as like a... Regardless of the name, it should be, when we get a manager of England, the FA should have gone for an English manager. That should have been the focus. So they should have looked to someone, whether that's Graham Potter, whether they could have convinced, I doubt they could have convinced Eddie Howe, or someone who's available who's English. That should have been the sort of, the requirement. You have to be English. That is the statement. England should have gone for an English manager.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of chat about this, been a lot of people losing their minds about it. You've seen ex-footballers like, I saw Danny Mills, who was quite happy to play under Sven-Göran Eriksson, moaning about the fact we've not got an England manager who's English, which is quite ironic. I've also seen Jamie Carragher, to be fair, him has been relatively consistent with his opinion, saying that he feels the England manager should be English, although I think he did play under Capello, if I'm not mistaken.
If you can call it playing.
Yeah, well, he turned up. So, for me... I mean, we'll go around the table. Chels, will start with you. You say you don't. You're not bothered. Really?
I don't really care.
Yeah, I can tell from your face you're not bothered.
I'm not bothered.
Put words in your mouth there, but you just have that air of I just don't give a toss.
Like at the end of the day, yeah, I probably would have said that makes more sense to have a manager from that country as the manager of the club. But I mean, it's not a requirement, and I mean, there's nothing saying he's not going to do well. So I mean, I only realised the other day that Poch was the manager of the USA. I didn't even know that. So nobody really cares anymore.
What now?
Yeah.
No, Ian.
What?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
USA head coach. I didn't know. I saw it.
Since when? Where have I been?
That's what I mean. I saw on Sky News. I was like,
Have you not heard about all the outrage from all the American fans that they've not got an American managing the national
And
side?
then they went, name an American manager then.
Who's that guy for Ted Lasso?
oh God, yeah.
That was the answer. They're not messing. They don't care. I don't think they care. Right?
I loved when I found out he went to USA because everyone says he's the best manager in the world.
Isn't he Man United's current manager? I thought we sacked Solskjaer in his second season.
Yeah.
Watching.
But yeah,
Poch is just loving life.
yeah, he's just loving it.
You know what?
Just living up in
Go
America.
to Chelsea for a bit, get a
Robbing a
payout.
living
Yeah.
him.
Do you know what I mean?
Robbing a living.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail you there. I
it's
actually
all
didn't know
right.
that.
But now,
I found that out this morning.
that just goes to prove. I just don't care, basically.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah,
Like a
don't
modern
care.
day Andy Tate.
Yeah,
Don't care.
don't
That's
care.
what anyone but David Moyes.
Moise.
Lauren, you're of a similar ilk, are you? Or are you
I
more bothered?
haven't followed England for a very long time now, and so I don't really care.
When's the last time you followed England?
4 years ago.
Right.
So it's not a very long time. It's a long
So
time, isn't it?
patriotic.
Really?
Yeah.
Quite a long
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
But
3 managers ago.
yeah, well, I understand why people might want an English manager. You've got to be English to play for England, so why shouldn't the manager then be from this, like, have the same nationality? But who cares if they're going to do the job? Let them do the job.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Still cry he's not English if he wins you a tournament?
The Euros, yeah.
Like, oh, you're going to retract because then you don't care. So I think it's a pointless argument, but in the same breath, I understand at this minute why people, because they're used to an English manager now. So I think they want to try and continue it, but I couldn't care less.
We used to an English manager that most of the press and media and fans hammered on a regular basis, but he was English. Joseph,
I think it matters a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, I disagree that we should have just got an English manager just
Okay.
because. But I don't think it's irrelevant or that it's like a non-thing.
Yeah.
I think that the scrutiny he's going to get, like, look at the newspapers, and some of it is just xenophobic, some of it is tongue-in-cheek, some of it's a bit silly, some of it's, just writing the headline that they think the public want to read. Like, oh, he's German. Oh, and the wars.
It is that though. Can we just get the elephant in the room just right? There's an element of that. People don't want to say we went to war with Germany twice, but that is like the underlying thing, because there wasn't a similar outrage when Capello was manager. There was a little bit when Sven took over because he was the first foreign manager.
Yeah.
So I remember there was quite a lot of I can't believe
There was
we've
a
got
controversy there.
Yeah, but with Capello it kind of died down a bit, but now it's back up again, and I do feel like there's a little underlying of. Like, we were watching some Vox Pops, weren't we, on Sky before? And there was a guy who sort of, he said it, and you could get what he was getting at, and he was like, a German.
Yeah.
Like,
You didn't want to say what
do you know what I mean? He didn't want to
say.
say the next line. They might have edited it out, but you could see what he was getting at here. It was like, really?
I mean, but that stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's some people who are going to be tweeting if he doesn't sing along with 10 German bombers, and like, you don't even look at him. He ain't even singing along with it. He can't be the England man. Like, people are just mental. So that stuff is utter bollocks. But I do think he's going to be given a harder time whenever they lose, and you're also getting a short-term manager in who. Probably, again, he's got an 18-month contract. If all he can do to be a success is win the World Cup, and anything else is a failure, like, you're setting yourself up for disaster here. And also, weren't England doing the whole thing of, like, using English managers and changing the way they structure the national team and making it this different thing than it had been, of like, oh, you're good, we'll get you for a bit, oh, you're good. Like, it was meant to be this sort of programme of bringing through talent through the ages, through the groups, whether that be player or manager. It feels like they've just abandoned all of that. I don't quite understand it, but I don't think the fact that he isn't English is a big problem. But it might end up being a problem for him because people are going to use it against him, whether I care or not. So from that front, it maybe is a little bit silly.
Yeah, I've already seen, like, the thing that sort of gets to me a little bit with the old England argument is this narrative of he's got, with this team, we've got to win something. Because I've been hearing that since I was a kid. I was hearing that when we had Gaza. I remember when we had the likes of the class of '92 when they were all in the England team. People, we can't not win with this team, surely. It's been, we've always thought that as England fans or as England, the media in England. And it's like now we've got Bellingham, we've got Foden, we've got Manu or whatever. We've got Harry Kane. I know he's not, young, but we've got this great crop of players. Well, we had a great crop of players when we had Beckham and Scholes and Butt and all the rest. We had a great crop of players when we had Alan Shearer and Ian Wright and Andy Cole. Couldn't even get a look in. Like, we've always had that, or we've always thought we had that. So that's a bit nonsensical. I'm not bothered about England enough to care about this. I was saying to you earlier, Joe, my main concern, I'm not trying to be all top red. I've been jaded over the years with the way England have treated United in particular. I hope Tuchel gives the likes of Manu and Rashford a shot, and that's all I'm bothered about, to be honest with you. I'm not overly fussed who the England manager is.
I don't want them to. So whenever there's an international break, they can just relax and train by themselves.
Yeah. No injuries.
No injury fears. Stay away from that squad, please.
Right, Thank you. Alex Ferguson says, big up you guys. Love watching your content, especially this segment. Abhinav Verma says, Steve mentioned that the cost of a coaching badge is so expensive in England that England doesn't have good coaches at lower level because there aren't enough. Rob Lucas, I think this might be going back to the Mourinho point, says we're pretty good at ruining managers no matter who it is since Fergie. Are we still in debt is the question there. So it was a unanimous decision by us lot on the poll. England should have appointed an English manager. Agree 19%, disagree 81%. So you can see there most people in the chat are similar to us. They're not overly bothered. Okay, this might be a slightly more controversial one.
Go on then.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to flip this one. We'll do this one. We'll do the next one first. INEOS were right to remove Sir Alex from his ambassadorial role. So if you don't know what this is about, then where have you been for the last 48 hours?
We did a video on it yesterday. Me and Steve went through it and broke it down and had a chat about it. So check that out after this if you're not sure what's going on.
Be careful of some of the headlines you may read, because it's like some of them are a bit misleading and inflammatory, and it's like the way I read it in one was like Sir Jim Ratcliffe had basically just fired Sir Alex Ferguson from a cannon into the sea.
A wall from an inch away.
Yeah, it was like, do you know what I mean? It was like the worst thing that anyone's ever done. I was like, what is this? And lo and behold, it was from the Mail.
So read the statement out again.
So, INEOS were right to remove Sir Alex Ferguson from his ambassadorial role. We think he was on about 2.6 million quid a year. He's 2.16, forgive me, I'm adding numbers on there. It's unanimous. This is going against the grain. Well, we'll find out what the grain is. We'll do a poll. But I tweeted about this yesterday, and I was like, this doesn't look great. And loads of people are like, he's got, he's Fergie's sentiment. What's he getting all this dough for? He's earning more than some of the players.
Yeah.
Name one player that should be earning more than him. No. Are you joking? He should be earning more than all of them, let alone some of them.
Yeah. I struggle with the sort of the optics of it all is what I've struggled with. Think, okay, they've made these cost-cutting measures. We know there's been 250 redundancies. INEOS are going to change things. They've changed almost everything except the manager. So you can understand why they might look at certain things like, okay, where can we save some money? Where can we, tighten our belts, whatever, and I've looked at it that way. But if you do decide to do that, and I'm not saying they should have, I personally would be happy if Alex Ferguson got 10 million quid a year for the rest of his life. I agree with Eric. I do. Eric Cantona obviously tweeted about it or posted on Instagram. I just think the way they went about it, like letting it get leaked. Adam Crafton broke the story. And Adam Crafton's not a journalist that United leaked stories to on purpose. Like, he's a great journalist, but he's the one that broke the Mason Greenwood story, if you remember. So he's obviously done his own work, got good sources and found it out. But INEOS could have got ahead of this and had a statement or some sort of, announcement with Fergie on board and made it seem more amicable, which is what they said, and more mutual, rather than it's been leaked and then you're getting everyone running with all these stories about how he's been sacked and he's lost all his dough and all the rest of it. Chels, you disagree that it was the right move. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like a massive opinion on it myself, but I just feel like it just leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. It's a little bit like, I get cost cutting measures and stuff, but like, I don't know, to relieve the greatest manager potentially we've ever had from his role in the club, it just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. I don't know, like, maybe there could have been other things he'd done, like give him a different role or even reduce his pay, but I just think to get rid of him altogether from that sort of role just kind of, I don't know, doesn't sit well with me. And I just think it could give the wrong impression to what kind of INEOS are trying to do at the club. Obviously, heritage and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest.
You're not?
No.
No, I mean, I'm not either. What do you reckon, Lauren?
I totally agree with you about the way they went about it. It should have been directly from the horse's mouth. We should have made a statement as soon as the agreement was made. I think we are a club that is built on history and sentiment. Like Eric said, let him do whatever he wants till the day he dies.
Yeah.
I understand some people's arguments, like, why are we paying him £2 million? Like, we can save money there, and things like that. But I just think, no, this man has done absolutely everything he could for this club.
Yeah.
For us to then just it be leaked to the press and we've not heard from him. It's just a little bit dodgy for me. It, as I say, it's amicable. It could have been a completely mutual decision where Fergie's a bit like, it's a bit much for me now, guys. Like, I'm getting on. And they could have gone, you know, okay. Or they said, look, we're looking at this, and he could have gone, yeah, okay, my days are done. But it just hasn't felt like that.
No.
And it's just felt a little bit disrespectful, in my opinion. And I think it's going to put a lot of fans, it's going to turn a lot of fans against INEOS already, I think. And so they're putting themselves completely on the back foot when it comes to the opinion of the fans.
It does seem quite a contentious issue, whichever way you look at it, because people are disagreeing over. You've seen a lot of different arguments on socials. I mentioned the Eric Cantona Instagram post where I think didn't he tell them to all go and eat some shit or something?
He said he'll put them in a big bag of shit.
Something like that, yeah. So
Love that.
it's not like everyone's just on board and everyone loves it. It's caused a bit of a furore, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just think I think it's stupid. You just think, like, football isn't just a business. It's not just money. It's not like, I know PSR is a big thing, and you know all that stuff is like you have to focus on it, and but buying new players and the money to buy new players isn't the only thing a club is. It's not just a sequence of transfer market decisions and everything in the club has to filter down towards how much have we got to spend on players. You're allowed some sentimental decisions in a football club because it's a community thing. It's not just about, you know, dots and I's on a contract somewhere. This is like people's lives. And I think that someone like Alex Ferguson, it's not like Klopp, who was there for 9 years and won one title. He was at Man United for 26 years and won 13 titles. Yeah. That's more than every club in England except Liverpool and Arsenal. 13 league titles by himself. Like, he is bigger than every club in England himself that isn't Liverpool or Arsenal. Sir Alex Ferguson is bigger than Man City. He's bigger than Chelsea. He's bigger than everyone. Like, it's absolutely absurd that he shouldn't be one of the highest paid people at Manchester United. Maybe he's not on the 17, 18 million that a Casemiro's on. But the fact that he's making loads of money every year, of course he is. Yeah. He should be.
He deserves it.
Who else deserves it? Yeah. He is the living representation of Manchester United. And I don't think it's any problem whatsoever. We didn't even know he was being paid this until, I mean, I know it was public information, but it wasn't a big talking point. No one really knew. No one really cared.
Because we were like,
I just think if anyone's going to earn that, like people go, oh, he's on more than Ahmad. Of course he is! Why would Ahmad be on more than him? What's Ahmad ever done? He's played about 20 times for United. Oh, good. Yeah, let Ahmad. So why would he be paid more than Sir Alex Ferguson? That's an absurd objection to have. Like, I just think, it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. United earns 600 million every year, and if he's going to get, what, a 30th, I don't even know what the number is, a very small fraction of that, I just think, at 3%, whatever it is, I just think I'm not that bothered. 0.5% even. I think he should be on loads of money until he dies. Yeah. Like, that's just what Sir Alex Ferguson should get.
I think that's what Eric kind of said, didn't he?
Yeah,
he said
that's what his life should be now. Think of it as his pension. Does he he should get shitloads of money off Man United every year because we can afford it and he deserves it. I just don't see what the point is, really. No. When you see some of the players, like the fact that there's plenty of players, the only two players that were mentioned was Ahmad and Mainu, who are on less than him of like the first team squad.
Yeah.
The fact that everyone else is on more than him, and most of them have done nothing for Man United. That's the problem. Get players in who aren't wasting their contract and their wages. I didn't think it needed to happen at all, and it just doesn't look good. What's the point? You're sacrificing everything for a bit more cash. I don't want that to be what United is.
I think this will add a new level of scrutiny though as well to cost-cutting measures and what goes on now. Like, we've seen a lot of this, haven't we? Like with the Glazers taking private jets to go to the cup final and things like that. Apparently that costs £500,000 a pop or whatever. Yeah. Things like that now are going to be under more of a microscope for INEOS.
No, they can get more now because they've saved $2 million on
well, this is it. People are saying like
250 people that they
so they've made some unpopular decisions, shall we say. In the chat, United were right to remove Sir Alex Ferguson from his ambassadorial role. 70% agree, 30% disagree.
Wow.
That doesn't surprise me, that, because I've noticed quite a lot of people on social media are like, oh, you know, got to move with the times and what was he getting, and making the argument you were pointing out, Joe. No, you weren't making that argument, but he's getting more in place. I will always be the opinion, just give Fergie whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
Like
honestly,
also.
I know. So let's not. This whole thing about 2.16 million a fucking year. Okay, yeah.
That's pennies.
Like it's not.
For us, that's
it's
not
a lot of money to us, but to Manchester United, it's not that.
Sir Alex is worth more than that to the club.
It just feels like
for all he's done.
Do you know what the funny thing is, right? If they'd have kept him on, no one would have batted an eyelid.
No one
would have. This would not have been a story today
wouldn't.
if he'd have been kept. Like that meeting had happened and nothing had changed. They wouldn't have gone. Well, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson's still the ambassador. That's a joke. That. Some of the ambassadors we've got at this club, by the way, you want to take a look at that. Anyway, I digress. Let's not go down that route again. We'll be here all day. Ten Hag is the best manager available right now.
Are we not a Ten Hag free zone anymore?
When you say available,
I know. I thought we were.
Sorry to
we were doing
clarify
so
everything.
well.
When you say available, do you mean like realistically available or out of work available?
Realistically, let's go with realistically.
So someone like Kieran McKenna might be available even though he's just signed a 4-year deal at Ipswich.
Let's go with realistically available, not just out of contract. I'm sorry we bring the Hag thing again, but
Best available.
Best manager available right now.
You just don't.
It's hard to say.
Well, you've got to say.
I know. This is what I mean.
Right, we're all agreed. Are we all agreed?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 51%,
Like
49. The only sort of reason I'm going with agreed is because if I'm going to say no, then I've got to come up with some names who I think are better. And this is where I'll fall down slightly. Because there's some names I look at and I think, okay, is it Ruben Amorim? Or you look at the Terzic, who was at Dortmund. This is like a young, exciting manager who's had some relative success. I think they could be the right guy. I don't know though. So I'm not going to say like 100% if you get in Amorim, he's going to come in and storm it. I do think, though, Eric Ten Hag needs to get his act together very quickly because I've lost faith in him, to be honest with you. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but I have my enthusiasm for the Eric Ten Hag projects has waned massively. Chels, you agree he's the best man for the job right now or the best one available?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't know who I would say. I mean, I did say Thomas Tuchel, but he's gone now, so I can't have him. But I don't know who else could...
just get over Thomas Tuchel, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's old news now. He's the England gaffer.
I know.
He's English now.
Yeah.
And no English manager's ever won the Premier League, so he's no good.
This is true. No, but like I said, I couldn't give you a list of names who I think would do a better job. And, you know, there probably are. I mean, don't get me wrong, there probably are managers out there who would do a better job. But I don't know who they are. So...
I don't think INEOS do either.
No,
I think that's why they're sticking with Eric Ten Hag.
The question is there a manager on earth that could do better with this squad than Man United? The answer than Ten Hag. The answer is obviously yes. Because you can't do much worse. We're fucking 12. Like, we're terrible. It couldn't be much worse than it is. But available right now is the question. Who wants to come in with 50 games of the season left? Like, this season, by the way, it's a write-off. It was so bad we had to sack the manager, but we want you to take care of 8/9 of it or whatever it is that's left. Like, there's so much season left, it would be awful.
And also, we've done this before with Ragnick. Just come in
worse.
Give it a go.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a miracle that he survived it to still work in football.
If you're asking me this question at the end of this season and we're still where we are now, or even if we finish like 9th or 8th or whatever, I would almost certainly say we just got to find the next person. But you're giving someone a terrible situation to inherit. I think that's why you often... teams often will wait to November, December before they set the manager, no matter how bad things are, because you don't want to give a new manager, a team that's in 12th with 50 games left in all competitions, because that is a horrible position. Because you could really improve the team and finish 7th. And that's not particularly helpful for a new manager either. So
it still looks like a failure in a way,
exactly. You can have and you've got to improve people overnight. Whereas if you get them in the end of the season, you can. But I think that's why I would give Ten Hag this season, basically, unless it's like on-field mutiny and he's clearly, then
relegation zone.
Relegation.
A sitting protest by the players at half-time. They just refuse to come out.
Ten Hag comes out with loads of punches.
The game is forfeited. It's untenable, Eric. I'm sorry, son. Loads of people in the comments. Elaine Trafford says Ollie. Rain says Ollie. No. Ross Murphy says Zidane is better, but is he really good enough when he didn't have a dream Real Madrid team? Stan K. Phelps, says Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Come on,
I know, sorry. That might
just say Phelps.
Phelps, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, with the mistake.
Harry David says, in all seriousness, the best manager might not have the best CV. Ashworth has won fuck all, but is considered a great director of football.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what? I think we should run with that. Bit of fucking Dan Ashworth hate.
Yeah.
Let's turn against him after a month.
Yeah. What's Barada won? Oh, like everything. All right, then.
Never mind, not him.
Someone else then. INEOS,
but he won it with City, so we hate him.
It cheats.
Barada out.
What's the poll saying?
It's very split.
Is it?
Ten Hag is the best manager available right now, realistically. Agree, 57%. 43% disagree. The great thing about this poll is, and I say this every week, but it's true, if we lose to Brentford, that will be 90% disagree, 10% agree, and the 10% will be non-United fans who are trolling. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but we don't want to, I don't want to, judge too soon. Right, we'll do one last quick one.
One last more.
This is interesting. And this is coming on the back of he got a goal for Brazil. Man United wasted Andreas Pereira.
What? Who wrote this?
I think, was this Ethan?
Wasted.
Oh, was this like the way to point at each other, like grassing each other up?
This is conflicting for me.
I hate everything about football. Football's just the worst.
Tearing at the heartstrings, aren't we?
Do you know what? I'm gonna explain myself on this one.
Yeah, you better do.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree.
So.
Absurd.
So it's
absurd.
Me and Lauren.
Go on then. Explain yourself.
Do you know why?
Did Man United waste Andreas Pereira?
Because you're not looking at the whole pie, right?
Come on. No, get to it.
You're looking at the prism of the keyhole when you need to look at the pie.
Cut the BS. Right. Talk to me, Jay.
Because not just before he left.
What are you googling here?
I want to go through his loan spells. I think we ruined him before he got to the first team. Before he was a first-team regular.
Right.
That's when we ruined Andreas Pereira, because there was a good player there. Okay. There was a very good young player. And he had low moves, he had moves back into the team, scored a lovely free kick at Old Trafford, you remember? Then he's loaned out again. Right. And then he was shifted around different positions. Was he a winger? Was he a 10? Was he a DM? No one really knew. Then he was played consistently when he wasn't consistent. He played 35 games, I think, under Ole, and he was pretty poor for a lot of them. Right. And that's why I think we wasted him probably in some respects, because there was a very good young player there when he was 17, 18. Everyone was raving about him. He went on loan to Granada, he went on loan to Valencia, he went on loan to Lazio, he went on loan to Flamengo, sorry. Flamengo? That's not a football team. He went on loan to Flamengo. I don't think all those loan moves at those times were necessarily helpful towards him. No. So that's where I'd argue we wasted him.
Yeah.
I think you could have got a bit more of a tune out of him in his younger years and maybe got a better player out of him. Yeah. He's doing well at Fulham. By the time he'd left United, he had to move on. So I'm not going to sit here and go, we shouldn't have got rid of him, because we should have. But that's my argument. Go on, you disagree. You think we didn't waste him. He just weren't good enough.
Just not good enough.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not. You haven't said this, but I see this thing of like he scored. What was it? A free kick or a nice goal for Brazil, didn't he? Recently, and people are like, we shouldn't have got rid of him, and he's looked quite good for Fulham this season. But people have this thing where it's like, if a mid-table club has a decent player for them who looks quite good, it's a disgrace that they don't play for a top team. And like whoever they came from should have seen this coming. Like with Zaha at Palace when he left United and he would look really good for Palace, and everyone was like, you should never get rid of him. Well, maybe he wasn't good enough for United. Like mid-table teams are allowed to have good players who aren't top players. Yeah. Like Ricky Lambert looked quite good for Southampton. He's one of the worst players I've ever seen for Liverpool.
Did he get an England cap for the pants?
Christian Benteke.
Didn't they give him one? Because they're like, you know what? It's a great story, this.
But Christian Benteke was probably was it Palace one he was at?
No, was it? Yeah, sorry, go on.
And he was brilliant, smacking goals in left, right and centre. Went to Liverpool, wasn't good enough. Like Andreas Pereira is good enough for Fulham. Yeah. He's a very good player. He's a Premier League quality player.
Sorry?
Benteke at Villa, sorry, went to Palace later.
Scored that overhead kick, did he, Benteke, against us? Remember?
That was for Liverpool. That was the best thing he ever did in Liverpool shirt.
That was I blame my mate for that.
Why?
My mate was giving him loads of grief, saying you're just a shit MLS-ker, which is MLS-ker for a lot of people. I'm not saying it is. And then he scored that for, like, over a kick like a minute later. I don't know. It's a nice narrative, isn't it?
It is good.
I blame him. I remember saying to him, that's you, that you did.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
But anytime a mid-table team has a good player, it's like they're so good. Mid-table teams are allowed to have good players, and that's their level. Look at James Ward-Prowse, for instance. Like, he was very good for Southampton for ages. Yeah. Then he's at Forest and it looks good for them, but that doesn't mean he should be playing for City. Like, you're allowed to have good players at mediocre teams, and that's what
I think you're right, to be honest with you. What do you say?
Mine's the sentiment. I do own a Andreas Pereira shirt.
Yeah, someone said that in the comments.
Yeah, she's famous for it on Twitter.
Where is it?
It's like
Lauren, Mark Salisbury.
Everyone knows.
Lauren should have worn an Andreas shirt tonight. I thought he was messing him out.
No.
That's her dad.
I do own a Pereira shirt.
Which one? Which shirt is it?
The green one?
No, it's the black one that had like I can't remember what year it was. It was like an off-red like rubber badge.
Is it the
third? It was a third shirt.
Yeah, like orangey.
Yeah.
So you were just giving them away.
Oh,
Wasn't that the one that we had the year that we won the Europa League? Was that one?
What was that?
2017-18.
Really?
Was it?
What year was it?
Was that the orange writing, or was it?
It was the orangey like rubber badge.
I think
and
I've
it was
got
black.
the Bruno. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Was it a gift?
20.
No, I bought it.
You like
I went. Yeah.
Like 2020. 20.
I bought it myself.
Right, fair enough. What was it about Andreas Pereira that you thought was like, you know?
This is a really girl answer, but fancied him really.
Right,
to be honest.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Because that's not something we have to deal with football-wise.
Speak for yourself.
I am speaking.
I had so many David Beckham shirts back in the day. It was football inability.
It adds an interesting element to football watching, doesn't it? That we just don't have to contend with whatsoever. No, my crush has never left Man United. Like, that's just not happened.
I cried when Vidic left.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never been in that position.
My missus has a Fellaini tattoo, but she insists it's not because she fancied him.
Wait, she has a tattoo as well?
A Fellaini.
I didn't know she had a tattoo.
Wow.
Yeah, on a finger. It's a point of contention in our house.
I will be having words.
Yeah. Chels, you disagreed. You said he weren't good enough.
Yeah, I get the point where obviously, you know, teams like Fulham can have good players, but I don't think he's good enough to play for us. I mean, he had his moments where he'd play in pre-season and he'd get the pre-season Pirlo name. And
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he scored a good free kick in pre-season. Everyone thought it was the next best thing.
Joe's face.
Pre-season ruins everything,
also,
doesn't it?
No offence, but Pirlo's the most overrated player in the history of football.
There you go.
By the way.
There you go.
He didn't start being good till he was 30, and then he was good for 3 years, and everyone acted like he was the best player ever. He's a good midfielder who didn't run.
He's a proper like hipster's choice Pirlo, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
So people, I fucking love Pirlo, mate. Do you? Or did you just watch him Pirlo performances that you love so much?
You just watched him in that one Euros where he was ace.
Yeah.
And like he was a very good player, but people talk about like he's one of the great midfielders, and he isn't.
No.
He's a good midfielder who sorry, I don't know why that's...
Really got you.
Come on.
What a tangent.
Yeah, no, he scored the odd free kick in pre-season, and obviously he got that name for himself, and he was good, but then it just never...
He looks like a proper footballer.
Yeah.
Talk about crushes.
Yeah.
Why do you think I look like this?
Yeah, exactly.
I've literally modelled the whole look on Pirlo, so I can't pretend like I didn't like him, but... Come on. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all right. No, that was it really. Just pre-season Pirlo. He always, everyone got that name, and then he went into the season, played, and didn't really do anything. So
I just think he wasn't used correctly a lot of the time. But he shouldn't have stayed at United. He isn't good enough, but he was wasted because I think we could have got more out of him than we did.
That's fair enough, maybe.
Chris Lee says Milne was brilliant at Dundee United. We don't have enough Ralph Milne references on this channel. Well done, Chris. I'm impressed with that. We're going to wrap it up there. But in fact, we're not going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go through the results. Man United wasted Andreas Pereira. Yeah, most people agree with you.
Makes sense, to be honest.
Disagree. He wasn't wasted, regardless of the case I tried to make. So we'll go through it all. INEOS should have gone for Tuchel. The studio disagreed with that statement, and the chat disagreed to the tune of about 3/4. England should have appointed an English manager. The studio disagreed and the chat disagreed because, you know, we're not all Nigel Farage. INEOS were right to remove Sir Alex from his ambassadorial role. The studio disagreed. The chat agreed with that one.
It was a big agree as well.
70%. So there you go, you see. Ten Hag is the best manager available right now. The studio agreed. The chat agreed. Just 57%. Man United wasted Andreas Pereira. We've lost our minds because he scored a goal for Brazil. Studio split. I've lost my mind because I agreed with that statement. But the chat disagreed. 68%, and you were probably right. I've enjoyed that. Chels, thanks for coming on the channel.
Thank you.
Lauren, always a pleasure to see you. Go and check out them on socials. You know where to find me and Joe. We're also going to be back later on tonight with the Paddock. No, it's not the Paddock podcast. It's Paddock Live tonight, innit? So you're going to be getting into all the latest Manchester United news. So make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. That's been Lauren. That's been Chels. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been Agree or Disagree. Thanks for watching.